But a few days later, a policeman summoned me to the station and said, "Your wife chose to run away from you to another man, so we are closing the case." And when he stepped away, I caught a glimpse of her lover's name and embarked on my nuclear revenge. The case closed. It had been 10 days since she disappeared. No text, no call, not even a note, just vanished. The last thing she said to me was, "I'm going to run errands." And then silence. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Her mother hadn't heard from her. Her friends were just as surprised as I was. I filed a missing person report after 48 hours. That's what they say you're supposed to do. The officer took down my statement with a bored look on his face, nodding like he'd seen it all before. And now here I was, sitting in a fluorescent-lit office across from a new officer who barely made eye contact as he read from a sheet. "She's not missing," he said, flipping through the paperwork. "She left willingly. Took a bus 2 states over with another man." He finally looked at me. "There's no foul play here. She just moved on, so we're closing the case." My jaw tightened. "That's it?" I asked, keeping my tone even. He shrugged. "That's it." He stood, probably ready to file his report and move on with his day. But as he turned away to grab something off the printer, the file he'd left on the desk tilted just enough for me to see the name Logan Pierce. Not just a name, a target. His name, my mission. Logan Pierce. I repeated the name over and over in my head as I drove home, like a mantra, like a code I was going to crack. I didn't tell anyone what the officer said. No updates to family, no calls to friends. I stayed quiet, still calculating. I wasn't going to make a scene. I was going to build a case. And it started with a Google search. Logan Pierce, Charlotte, North Carolina. There were 3 hits. One was a mechanic, another a college student, and the third, a mid-level manager at a marketing firm. Mid-30s, divorced, and judging by his LinkedIn profile, a guy who thought dressing like a finance bro made him important. And that third one had a public Instagram account. There she was, in the background of a picture from a rooftop bar. My wife laughing, holding a drink, wearing a dress I paid for. No guilt, no shame, just smiles and filtered sunsets. That was when I made 3 decisions. 1, I wouldn't confront them yet. That would give them the satisfaction of knowing I was hurt. I wasn't hurt, I was surgical now. 2, I'd document everything. Every post, every comment, every photo. I screenshotted them all and compiled a timeline. 3, I'd find out exactly what he had to lose. Because revenge isn't just about destruction. It's about leverage. Within a few days, I knew everything about Logan Pierce. He was up for a promotion, regional director. His ex-wife was still receiving alimony, and she hated him. His employer had a strict no fraternization policy, especially when it involved married employees. And most importantly, his life, just like hers, looked better online than it did in reality. They had no idea that by choosing each other, they had both chosen their own executioner. I didn't want to just burn them down. I wanted them to do it to themselves. Digging the pit. I wasn't impulsive. I wasn't emotional. That was their game. Mine? Strategy. I needed them to think they were untouchable, free, happy, unbothered. Because that's when people get sloppy. I created a fake profile. Female, age-appropriate, attractive but not obvious. A few curated photos, a few motivational quotes. Enough to look real, harmless. Then I followed Logan. Within 2 hours, he followed back. Within 1 day, he liked 3 of my posts. Within 3 days, he sent a message. "Hey, do we know each other? You look familiar." Classic. I played along, vague and flirtatious. I told him I worked in HR for a regional competitor. I kept him talking. The more he messaged, the more confident he became, the more reckless, and I was screen recording every word. Meanwhile, I contacted his ex-wife, Lena. She hadn't posted in a while, but a little digging led me to a business listing. She was running a small bakery. I ordered a few items through her website and wrote a polite message in delivery notes. "Hi, Lena. I know this is odd, but I have some information you'll want to see. It involves Logan, your ex-husband. Not a threat, just truth. Here's a private email." I wasn't sure if she'd bite, but 2 days later she replied, I've been waiting for something like this. Tell me everything." At the same time, I reached out to Logan's employer's HR department anonymously. "Hello, I have reason to believe one of your managers is involved in a romantic relationship with a married woman who was recently reported as a missing person. This may violate your ethics policy and public image. Documentation available if necessary. No signature, no identifiers, just a quiet detonation. I didn't send the proof yet because revenge isn't about rushing. It's about waiting until the rope is tight, the trap is set, and they're smiling as they step right into it." The cracks began to show. It started with a change in tone. Logan, who had been flirty and bold in his DMs with my fake profile, suddenly went quiet, then curt, then disappeared completely. A week later, he unfollowed the account. I knew what happened. HR got my message. They probably didn't confront him outright. No company wants to deal with scandal if they don't have to. But I imagine someone in a crisp suit sat him down and said, "We've had a complaint. We're not saying it's true, but we're watching." That's how fear starts. Not with a hammer, but a whisper. Meanwhile, Lena, the ex-wife, was a different story. I sent her everything. Screenshots, timelines, proof that Logan had been parading my wife around like some prize. She responded with exactly what I hoped for. He stopped paying alimony 3 months ago, claimed he couldn't afford it. This is more than personal now. It's legal. She filed a motion to reopen their divorce settlement, claiming hidden assets and misconduct. I gave her everything she needed, and then some. And my wife? She texted me for the first time in weeks. "Hey, can we talk?" I waited a day before replying. "Sure, let's talk soon. I've been busy." She didn't respond after that, but I could feel the panic starting to settle in. She didn't know what was happening yet, but she could feel it. I wanted her to feel like Logan was slipping through her fingers, that her fantasy life was unraveling without explanation, that the man she left me for wasn't a savior. He was radioactive. And just when I knew she couldn't take any more, I sent her a message from a burner number. "Still think you upgraded?" Attached was a picture of Logan sitting alone on a park bench, head in his hands, everything around him falling apart. The fall. 2 days later, she showed up at my door. Not a call, not a text. She disappeared. She looked different, not in the physical sense. She was still wearing the same designer boots and flawless makeup, but it was in her eyes. That certainty, that smug, selfish sparkle she had the day she walked away, gone. She stood on the porch like she didn't know how to knock. I opened the door, but didn't say anything. I didn't invite her in. I let the silence speak first. She fidgeted, then finally asked, "Can we talk?" I stepped aside wordlessly. She walked in slowly, like she was trespassing her own past. She turned to face me, arms crossed like armor. "I don't know what you're doing, but Logan's freaking out. He says HR is breathing down his neck. He's barely sleeping." I said nothing. He thinks someone's trying to ruin him. He won't talk to me. I asked what's wrong, and he just said, "You wouldn't understand." Still, I didn't speak. Then she said the words I was waiting for. "Did you do something?" That's when I laughed. Quiet, bitter, sharp. "No," I said. "You did. I'm just a mirror." She blinked. "What?" I stepped closer, calm and composed. "You chose him. You left. You made your bed. You just didn't think it would catch fire." She lowered her head. "He's losing his job," she said. "Lena's suing him. His reputation's in the trash. And he thinks. He says he was set up." I shrugged. "If he feels set up, maybe he should think twice before sleeping with someone's wife." Her voice broke. I didn't know it would get this bad. And there it was, regret. Not for cheating, not for betraying me, but because the grass she leapt toward had caught fire on the way down. She looked at me then, really looked at me, and whispered, "Can we start over?" I stared back at her. This woman who once told me she was tired of hiding, who paraded another man through my life, who vanished and left me wondering if she was dead or worse, now wanted a second chance. Start over? I repeated. She nodded. I smiled gently. "We already did." "What do you mean?" I opened the front door again. "You started over with him." I said, "And I started over without you. Then I closed the door behind her. Was this revenge justified, or did it go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your take. And if you love jaw-dropping pro-revenge stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the like for more thrilling tales you won't want to miss. Every like, share, and subscription means the world to us. It helps us keep bringing you the stories you crave. Your support truly makes a difference. Thank you so much for being part of our community.